No.
Okay. All right, so that's official. The gavel is down. Welcome everybody to tonight's Environmental Sustainable Travel Committee meeting, 18th of April. Thank you very much for everybody attending. First part of the meeting is public participation. We don't have anybody in the chamber or on Zoom, so we're going to move along to item number 1. Which is apologies for absence. We've got apologies for Councillor Disfarran and Councillor Belsey. I propose that we accept their personal reasons. I propose that we accept them kind of second.
I'll second that, Chair.
Thanks, Craig. All those in favour? Exception those. Thank you very much. Item number 2, receive members' declarations of interest. If there is any. Nil. Stop. I don't need to go anywhere on that, do I?
No.
No. And item number 3, to approve. I feel like I'd go quickly through these bits. I don't know. Is it me?
It's good. No, that's
Is
fine.
it
That's fine.
To approve the accuracy for the minutes of the meeting on the 29th of February, I would like to propose those minutes. Can I have a second?
Second that, Chair.
Yeah, putting in practice with planning. Thanks, Craig. All those in favour of approval? Thank you very much. Great. Now I need to initial. No. Okay. Do I need to sign it?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we've got some chairman's updates. Following items are noted on the report. Cycle parking at East Court. If you remember, that's where we're thinking of moving the cycle parking at the bottom of the car park in the middle of nowhere, moving it to the outside the green metal
Car park area.
barriers. Yes, that's right. Sorry, I couldn't get the words out. We're looking to get further quotes on that one, just to let everybody know. Is there a time frame on that one?
I haven't, but do you want to put a time frame on how we time?
I'd like to, because I think it's just, otherwise we're just going to
Give me a
drag
time
on.
frame, yeah.
So at the moment we have had one quote, haven't
Yeah,
we?
but we've got to get 2 more.
Two more.
Because of the cost of it, yeah.
Okay, so in terms of time frame workload for you, what are we looking at?
The trouble is getting availability of contractors, but you know, if we say, well,
By the next meeting?
yeah, by the next meeting
Okay.
to get the quotes, yeah.
That would be great. If everyone's okay with that.
Have we got a budget for it?
Yes, there are funds in the committee pot.
And it was the first quote within the.
Yeah, yeah,
Rounds.
yes.
It was in. Okay,
Yes.
that's fine.
Yeah, but I think, is it generally we have to get 3 quotes anyway? Just for
Due to the
due
amount, due to
Yeah.
the financial regulations on the amount, but the first
Ah.
quote was, yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, that's great.
Just on that, do we have a list of contractors that we go to? So, like, there's 5 that we kind of generally issue to, or does it depend on the work?
Yeah, it
or
depends on the work, but yeah, we do have regular ones that we use. But yeah, obviously if they're not available or they've got too much work, which is often the case, we have to look elsewhere. So
So have a working party and just, you know, Tim.
Do it ourselves.
Yeah, do it ourselves.
I'm just going to ask, are our contractors that we prefer local?
I believe so, but
Jolly
that's
good.
more Alison's
Okay.
the estates manager role with work.
Is it something that Glendale might be able to help with?
Possibly.
You know, the new parks
Yeah, I could
management
ask them, yeah.
company.
Yeah, I could ask
They
them.
might be worth speaking to them
Yeah,
about it.
that's fine.
Just a thought. I saw them last night, actually did a presentation at Sports Council,
Okay.
so yeah,
Yeah.
that's why it's in the forefront of my mind. But I think, you know, they could be quite keen to
Yeah.
do something like that as it's sort of a quick win for them, really,
Yeah.
isn't it? Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously subject to that.
Yeah. Okay,
Awesome.
no, I'll ask them.
So that's cycle parking. Bike bus update to be provided by chair. Okay, so basically the bike bus fantastic idea, but it's all very much dependent on parent volunteers. And as you remember, Houseford Park was chosen really just as the first pilot scheme, really. We have got a parent who was very keen on the idea after we went in and spoke to their PTA almost, if you like. But it transpired that unfortunately that particular parent has got quite a lot going on in her life as well, which is, you know, unfortunate. And so at the beginning, I was very much looking to see if we could get something up before Easter, but there was no chance of that at the end of the day. And so we've resumed, you know, communications, and there are 3 parents that are keen to get involved. We need 2 more, and I was. Otherwise, the thing is, it's just been dragging on, and I'd really like to get something in the diary and organised. A lot of the work has been done. This particular parent, Jen, I can't remember the parent's surname. Can you, Sarah?
No.
No, it's not her email.
No, that's
her
what I
email's
was just
nice. I was
thinking.
thinking
Yeah,
that's
that's what I
anyway,
was
Jen is
thinking.
the parent. She's lovely and really up for it, but she's got a major project at home, like a complete rebuild of the house as well, that she's project managing, so it's proven a little bit time consuming. But we will get there. But I was going to ask if there's anybody on committee that would like to come down to Houseford Park one you know, day at the end of school day, and we could talk to a few parents, obviously with permission of Mrs. Spencer, who's the head teacher. If anybody, Councillor Mockford, you,
I'm happy to.
do that.
Yeah.
I was thinking it might be a better way of speaking to parents about it and getting some buy-in, and then we can get the thing rolling again, really.
Could you just remind me of the actual, what we're trying to achieve?
Yeah, so a bike bus it's all in conjunction with Sustrans, and they have a scheme called Fridays bike bus, and it's specifically just for a Friday, and it's they've got a process that they've put together, which basically gives a blueprint for parent volunteers to get the bike bus up and running. So it's not something that we as a committee or a council are running. It's something that we're proposing and supporting and helping, you know, with the parents and promoting and things like that, and getting the ball rolling, really. And it means that the parents each have a child or children, they've got more than one child at the school, they would ride their bikes along with their children on a predetermined route, which would start at A, and then it could potentially pick up other children along the route to that school and then finish at school, and then the parents will pick them up at the end of the day and then follow that route back round and finish. So that's the idea.
Do they have to pass the bicycle test?
No, they just need to be able to ride a bike and, you know, sensibly. So it's not something that, you know, I mean, reception children will still be able to do it as long as they can ride a bike. It's fine.
Okay.
Supervision is with parents, basically. It's the actual, yes.
Not having children myself, what time do schools usually close? 3:30?
Yeah, between 3:15 and 3:30.
Okay. Probably won't work with my working day. I'm not normally there till gone 4. I'd be happy to come along if I can make it work.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, what I'll do then is I'll speak to head teacher at Houseford Park, find out what days she thinks that would be best, and I'll include Jen, who's the lady that's sort of the supervisor parent, you know, and take it from there.
Yeah.
And I'll let everybody know. Continue to, you know, if you want to go on that, so we can, I suppose. Yeah. So I don't know. Anybody else got any thoughts on that?
It's a good starting point.
Okay. The other thing I did do is also write to the head teacher of St Mary's, because she expressed an interest a few the middle of last year when we first got this committee up and running. So I've been in contact with her, but she's not responded yet. So that was my sort of plan B, really, from a committee perspective.
Just because, and this is not to put off St Mary's, but they are right by a big busy road. Like the Meads, for example, it's still got a bit of traffic on the Hurst Farm Road, but the catchment for that, I think, apart from the hill, the catchment has less busy roads and there's less likelihood of crossing a main road, I think, potentially with the catchment. So I'm just wondering if you're going to try and do a school where maybe most of the children, it's a slightly easier route. Now the hill is a hill, but we live on East Grinstead, it is a hill, naturally. So I just wondered if the Meads might be another one which might be worth approaching just because of the way that school's orientated.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's a good point, and Baldwin's as well. And,
that was my next one, was Baldwin's.
Which was a part of the same academy. And the idea was to get Housewood Park up and running, and then move over to Baldwin's and then Blackwell, because they're all part of the same academy. So that would be easier to promote. But I only mentioned it to the head teacher at St Mary's purely because she was really keen on the cycling stuff. And I think with the bike bus, you can put a different route in. I know that the A22 is right by it, but you've also got Sackville Gardens further down. So if they were doing a route, that could come up
through the back,
up the back, and then through Wimble Lane, couldn't it, and stuff like that. So there's a few routes that that was the reason for it, really. But again, if anybody's got any comments or thoughts on that one, then just let me know.
So let's just understand. So a parent now who wants to cycle and go with their children, they go their route. This is to establish routes, is it really? Safe routes?
Not really to establish routes, no, but it's to give the children the experience of riding their bikes with their friends. I think what I'll do, Sarah, is if you could put a note in there, I'll send on an email a link to a few videos that Active Travel England have put together on bike buses that are already organised. So it will give you a better feel for it. They're not very long; they're only a couple of minutes, but it will give you a really good feel for what they're actually doing.
So unaccompanied children can use these roads. Is that what we're saying?
No,
we
all need to be accompanied by parents. Yes,
right.
There are ways that unaccompanied children can do with that, as long as the parent volunteers who are part of like the committee, as it were, are happy with that. And also there's disclaimers and things that the parents have to sign. So there's various things that they have to do, but it is possible, yes. But it's not, at the beginning, it's not really recommended.
So I think just to sort of summarise, it's to encourage cycling through going as a group, and because there's parents there, an element of accompanying them as well. Yeah. So I think it's children generally like to do things in groups, do it with their friends, but obviously given the age and the fact they don't necessarily pass their cycling proficiency, obviously some level of supervision. So I think that's the intention, really, to sort of kickstart that.
I was trying to understand, because when I was young, my elder brother took me to school, both of us on bikes.
Yes.
So, but then of course it was a lot safer. Yeah. It was a different. Cycles
no, it's the same principle of concept. But I think the way to get your head around it is to remove us from this situation. We're just trying to facilitate it, basically. But if you just think about 3 or 4 parents at the school gate saying, "I'd really like to ride in," the kids, they really want to do it. Should we do that? And that's that. And they say, "Yeah, let's do it." And that's all it is. But it's a predetermined route, so the idea is that you pick people up like you do on the bus, if they want to do that. The majority of children want to go right from the beginning to the end because it means a longer ride and more fun. That's what happens in reality.
So you're picking up as you okay.
Yes, but I'll email. I'll send some links to people to have a look at and to give
anything to encourage children to ride.
I agree, and that's the thing. It's really, and it helps with cars on the school gate as well. So that's the bike bus. There's a few things to do there. For next point, electric charging points at East Court. A meeting was held with the Deputy Town Clerk and representatives from Mid Sussex District Council and Connected Curb. Further investigations into potential location and infrastructure for supply are being conducted. Again, is there a timeline on that one, Sarah, or not? Just, it's just,
I hopefully come back with some at the next
Next
meeting
meeting, yeah,
with a bit more information on that, yeah.
brilliant. And also with regards to the Sang at East Court, we're still awaiting information from Mid Sussex. So that was the potential link from a cycling path, not a bridleway, but a cycleway from Lancaster Drive through Ashflats Wood and then down to Borg's or Escotts Drive. There has been some the Park Run actually have put some ideas to Mid Sussex as well as East Grinstead Memorial Estate to upgrade some of the muddy areas where the Park Run go, and that kind of takes me. So we're trying to see if we can piggyback on that as well. So that's the chairman's announcements. Does anybody have any comments? Yes.
On the charging points,
Yes.
we've discussed this over the years at length, particularly with the last chairman. We were always going to be promised the take-up statistics of how often they were being used, because they promised a great deal. But I personally, whenever I've looked, they've not been used, and I would like to see, before we make any more investments in this, that the take-up that keeps being promised.
Yeah.
I can't remember seeing any statistics showing what the actual reality is of the take-up.
Is this the
Any that we've been involved with over the years, or recent years, obviously, where they've persuaded us to put these charging points in, saying the income, etc. We've had long discussions at meetings. I just would like to see some of the take-ups, if ever we can get some figures, so we can actually review it to see what we've been promised has been actually taken up.
is there the volume of usage
Yes,
for that?
yeah.
Is it, you know?
Yeah, obviously, this is information I'll come back with in the next.
Yes, of course, I
Okay.
didn't
Yeah.
expect,
Yeah.
but I just think it would be
Yeah, so I
interesting
understand
for
what
us
you're
to look
saying,
at
yes.
the
Before
actual
we make a
usage.
decision.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so just many a time, particularly the Queen's Road car park or the Iceland car park, the bays, the charging bays, always considering that is an oversubscribed car park on Saturday, on the weekends in particular. Those charging bays are empty now. I don't know whether it's due to the demand is just not there. People prefer to charge from home. Is it that there's cost? I think one of the things, just to make a point, is you have to pay for the car parking as well as charges.
Yeah.
And I do wonder whether that, having that you have to go to do both is kind of a bit of a disincentive.
Yeah.
So whether they could look at whether it would make any difference, because if the demand's not there, the demand's not there.
Yeah.
But whether it's kind of no, if you don't need to buy a car parking ticket just so long as you are plugged in and charging, of which you have to be to use that space, because it does seem a bit. He seems underused, and I do wonder whether the double charging and the hassle of having to do both and sync both, because then you kind of go, well, I need to figure out how long I need to charge and do the hours, and what happens if I come back earlier or want to stay longer. I just wondered if it doesn't aid that, would be a point.
So to confirm, this is charging points in the East Court car.
Yeah,
Sorry, this is not. I know we've talked about before finding out to make that decision. We would get the information, I think, is the point from the others. So
No, absolutely.
my point's still valid.
I just wanted to make sure.
It's-
we're talking about the same thing.
It's so, have they looked into so that we can consider whether we take a slightly different approach?
Yeah. Do people park here long enough? I mean, basically, the only people that park here for a long enough time really are people that work in the building. Because visitors you wouldn't charge your car if you're just taking it off for a walk, would you?
You were at a wedding, you were at that point.
yeah.
True.
Highways, yeah.
Okay.
And one thought, not to prejudice, but if the old police station gets converted into flats, unless they are putting in electric charge pointing for those flat owners, that potentially could be a demand.
Yes, but you don't want, the thing is, I think there is an element of not using the East Court car park.
If we're getting, if we're encouraging electric charging and getting revenue off of it, I think there's a discussion to be had. Because my concern actually driving here, and we're going slightly off piece here, was, are they going to park here anyway, and are we going to have to do something?
Yeah, I don't know how.
So I think I think that regardless of the electric charging, there's probably a thought to be had on how do we free up those or keep those car parking spaces for non-residents, for which they're not residential.
Yeah, that's a discussion for another day.
How do we police it, if you pardon that?
Another-
And
Yeah.
that's, I think, another
I think we've
day.
got enough on our plate. I think we'll just do that one
Do you want to
to,
see the football?
Not really, no.
Comes to a head probably, yeah.
to
We
the
said Alice.
communities and tourism. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. That was very helpful. Item number 5 is the environmental sustainability policy. As you remember, we put some ideas and things forward last meeting. There's no updates on that report at the moment. We're just collating that information still and looking at some other options. So we will report back on that. And item number 6 is the ENST project assessment document, which Craig and myself were looking at to really just highlight projects that are pending, projects that are ongoing, projects that, you know, are wish list projects and things like that. And so the idea is this is a working document that we can, you know, can be transferred to everybody on the committee every civic year, so everyone knows what's going on and where we're at and progress and so on. Yeah, Jan, Craig.
Yeah, just apologies firstly for not looking at that. I think there's a lot of other council business going on at the moment. I think also it was good to link to the pillars, and in the environmental policy, I think the best thing would be to align the projects to what we're trying to achieve under the pillars. Yeah. So I think happy to continue working on that, but I think kind of once we've locked in those pillars, we can then underneath those have the projects, and that creates a nice structure, I think. Nice. So as soon as, even if we don't know all the final T's have been crossed and I's, if I can be sent where we are, yeah, I'll then at least have that progressed for the next meeting. Okay,
that's super. Thank you very much. Obviously happy to help as well. Not that I'll be able to tell you what to do on the spreadsheet, but
there's always room for improvement.
But I'm always willing to learn. Okay, so that's item 6. Item number 7 is Bike Week. An update on the promotion and the events in relation to Bike Week, which is being held on between the 10th and 16th of June. If you remember, this is the first year that as a town council we are promoting it as part of an event or a week from a town council perspective. It's already in the what's happening guide, or events guide rather, from the town council give out. And we've had a couple of meetings with Alice, as town promotions officer, and we've also included Graham from the EGBA as well, purely because it's a couple of things. It's piggybacking on the structure that Cycling UK put together. It's called Bike Week. If you Google it, it comes up with Cycling UK, and it's they're particularly aimed at getting businesses on board and getting their staff to cycle into work that week. Whereas we're taking a slightly different approach. It's a bit of a broader sort of approach. So the idea really is we're asking residents to replace one car journey with a bike ride. So that's kind of the hook that we're looking at, and also approaching sort of 8 or 9 of the largest employers within the town, and asking them to promote Bike Week and then get them involved with their employees, and also put together a week that week with some not events but things that people can do as well. So to kick off, there's a kiddie mass ride on the 9th of June, which is going to be amazing. There is a repair cafe on the 8th of June. So this is the weekend prior, obviously, on the 8th of June, where people can get their bikes fixed if they wanted to. And also On Your Bike will be at the Kiddie Mass as well, so they would have bike fixing opportunities for people as well on the Sunday. There's also there's an EGBA networking event on Thursday. Graham's agreed to promote Bike Week to everybody in EGBA, and anybody that's going is going to ask them to all cycle to the event at Checkham Mead. One question I had about that, Julie, was will the bike rack be there in June?
I don't know, I'll chase that for you.
Okay, great. And then with the EGBA event, the thought was that On Your Bike would do a little spiel on their business, because sometimes it's sponsored by a business, or they talk, businesses talk about their things, so it'd be quite a nice tie-in as well. And there is also the potential for something that weekend of the 16th as well. And I can't remember what it was. Can you remember?
It's you were talking to the East Finchley Cycle Club to potentially run a couple of cycle rides, I think. Is that what you
Yeah,
think?
that's right, yes. That didn't go very well.
No.
Let me just check
We'll
my
take that one off then.
Yeah, so that didn't go well. Although, having said that, there are the idea was that East Windsor Cycle Club could put together a couple of routes and dates and times or whatever where people could just go meet at somewhere in like the Fountain or something. So that idea is still, flame is still burning on that one. So
Couldn't
that's
you have it returning or starting or turning to a picnic or something in the East Court or something?
yeah, it's things like that. Yeah, I think that the East Windsor Cycle Club have got quite a lot on actually, and I think they're just thinking, oh my god, it's just a matter of going. I was going to do loads of stuff anyway. The other thing as well that we're going to be doing is, and this is something that will feed into the town council website as well, is looking at some sort of routes for residents and community to follow on their bikes. So we've looked at sort of a 2 mile, and a 5 mile, and a 10 mile sort of loop or round trip around town, and then work way or whatever the forest one. Just to again just give people a bit of feedback. One of there is a town route that we sort of I looked at. And it was about sort of the sights of the town. So starting off at the water fountain and going to St Swithin's, and looking at the Three Martyrs and the statue in Sackville College and East Cork, having to go on the swings, and then crossing the Meridian Line and the Commonwealth War graves at Mount Noddy, and then up through there and back into town after that. Thought just had a little bit of interest, really, almost like not an Easter egg hunt, but it's a sites of East Grinstead hunt, if you know what I mean. I don't know. Anyway, so that's kind of thing. So if anybody's got any thoughts on that, any ideas, routes, or things that we could incorporate within that week. The idea really is to keep it slightly more low key this year, because it's quite last minute. And then the idea for next year would be to set up a working group really early doors, get things going and organised prior.
I've got an idea. Thinking of your picnic, why couldn't we have a treasure hunt that goes to different places and picks up stuff that they then take and have the picnic on?
That's a good idea.
A treasure
Next year.
hunt.
Yes. I
Next year.
yeah, I think
It does grow. I mean, I remember the first time sitting with Mims, and we came up with this marathon at the bike ride, and look how it's grown over the years with Mid Sussex. I mean, huge. At that time we were wondering how many people we get to do it.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I think it will grow. You're right.
These things take time.
Yeah. You just get the foundation.
You've got to get that. It's a snowball.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Great.
So I noticed, I think the first East Court Live is on the Sunday before, which is the same day as a Kiddie Mass, which normally ends up here. If I've got,
No, East Court's 2nd of June.
is it 2nd of June?
East Court Live 2nd.
I need to change it in my diary and I will do that right
Yeah,
now.
no, that's the
For some reason I
9th
had
of
it.
June, yeah, 2nd
why
of June.
have I
East
got
Court
it
Live.
as the
It's always the
first?
first Sunday.
Fine, ignore that then.
No worries. Okay, so that's, I think, Sarah, do you think you could, is it possible that we could send an update round to committee on Bike Week, just so that everyone's in the loop on that?
Yeah. It's on the report, what we've got so far, but if we, when we.
Oh,
the
yes,
next
of course.
meeting,
Yeah,
then if there's any more to report, yeah, I'm happy to keep the committee updated.
there isn't a date in the diary for another meeting, is there?
No, Alice was going to do that, wasn't she, I believe, so
Yeah,
I'll
could you
chase her
chase
on
that
that, yeah.
And I think it might be an idea if everybody would like to know those dates to come along. It's a daytime, unfortunately, but we'll message everybody, and then if you want to come along to that, then more than welcome. So that's Bike Week. Any other thoughts?
I think that some of the people you do with the school, if you could get them interested in the Bike Week, that would be, you've already then got some critical mass that you can actually.
Maybe do a one-time bus bike for that week to get the idea.
Sorry, that's the other thing. On the Friday, yes, the idea would be to do a bike bus.
Bike
that
bus
day.
on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
14th,
yeah.
when,
Yeah.
oh yeah, in fact, I can see it.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
But actually, rather than a continuous bike bus, even to kind of get them going,
Yeah,
a one-time,
Yeah,
it's a bike week bike bus.
yeah,
And then hopefully they say, oh, wasn't that good fun? And
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah, good idea. So that is actually on the agenda as well. No, thanks for reminding me. So that's that. There's a GVR chase, but no, I think that's for bike car scheme. Okay. That's fine. Item number 8, walking and cycling leaflet. One thing Alice did say is that there's quite a bit of literature in the library. Don't know if anybody's been
lots
in
of
there.
walks
For the walks,
advertised.
and there are some cycling things, particularly for the cookie trail. Thanks, Sarah.
That's it.
So I just said to Alice, you know, why can't we have something like this for East Grinstead? You know, with the avenue there, it's connecting Worth Way and Forest Way and so on and so forth. So we're going to have a look at that as well. So I think moving forward with that, Sarah, is that something that is that a potential for a working group just to put something together on ideas and stuff? We're only a small committee though, so it's.
Yeah, I mean, it could be something that me and Alice work on, and it could be something that is outsourced to a company. We could start having, looking at that and how it works and getting some costings in if the committee decide it's something that they want to do, I think.
Okay, yeah, I think it would be helpful to have something like this because there is a growing number of visitors from Europe as well that do the avenue there. So they come through East Grinstead, and obviously it will be online as well. But also, this is a great tool to give out to not only East Grinstead residents, but residents over in surrounding towns and villages.
But often those cycle rides are sort of not on roads, they're off, so they need mountain bikes and things, don't they, a lot of them?
Well, the cookie trail is the same sort of surface as the Worth Way and Forest Way.
Yeah.
So it's quite a
it's
robust, smoothish
Yeah.
surface. Yeah.
Just sometimes they're appealing to different people, aren't they?
Yeah.
certainly not a road bike, put it that
No.
way.
No,
Exactly,
bin
that's
tyres
the
bin
point
tyres
I'm
aren't
trying.
there.
It's
Yeah.
not the bike that they've gone to school on, no.
No, absolutely. I don't know. What are people's thoughts on that?
Good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fit well with what we're trying to achieve on this committee. So,
You're appealing to more different people for different purposes, aren't they? More leisure
Yeah.
as opposed to travelling.
Mm.
So, trying to encompass more to people doing different types of riding, different areas.
Yeah.
I mean, the first we're doing school runs, then we're doing a weekend, Sunday afternoon bike ride for family. It's nice, it's spreading to
Yes.
different areas.
I think it's also good for, people outside of East Grinstead, people from London, for instance, who come in on the train, they could, pick this up online and print it off or whatever and ride the routes and see what, and attract people.
So is this still further to an earlier discussion that we were going to have bikes for rental at the station or whatever? Is that,
Yes. So,
Yeah. because that would
That's a lovely
Fitted.
segue, I think.
That
That was
segues very
fitted
nicely.
well.
Margaret.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, yeah.
That's the best thing. It's almost like you knew what was
I
coming up
didn't,
next.
I promise.
Yeah, yeah. I think, I'm going to propose that we push forward with this walking and cycling leaflet / online map and tourist guide, almost, for cycling and walking. Can I have a second for that? Thanks, Craig. All those in favour? Okay, did I do that right?
Yeah, that's
Good,
perfect.
fantastic.
I shouldn't turn the page over. Oh dear.
So that's good. Item number 9 is a bike hire scheme. So receive an update on availability of sites and the costings. Do we give people the updates, and it's the bike hire scheme that we looked at this time last year at full council, if you remember.
Yeah.
And we approved all the costings and the charges that were going to be incurred to start trial it. But we hit brick walls, I believe. Yes, here we go. We hit brick walls with sites locations. And following the last meeting, we have made quite a lot of progress. Thank you to Sarah and Town Clerk as well. And several things have happened. Deputy Town Clerk met with Christine Ellison from West Sussex County Highways, and it was agreed that council can use the site off of the A22 at the end of Forest Way, which is by the Sackville roundabout. On that green area, potentially.
So how are they going to get there from the train?
Well, there's two sites.
That's one
Margaret.
end.
That's
That's one end.
And where's
And then the other end, Sarah and I met with Southern Rail GBR.
Yeah,
And there was a very nice, helpful chap who said we could have a bike docking station on the concrete bit by the
Oh, great.
opposite the bus depot.
That's excellent.
So that is, he didn't think there would be a problem, but I think what are we waiting for?
So I had to
Sarah?
produce like a business case for them, which I submitted to him, and he's now got to put it to the appropriate department at their end. But the land's in their ownership, so he was quite certain that there wouldn't be an issue, and it sort of fitted in with all their infrastructure ideas, sustainability. So he was very hopeful, but we haven't heard back from him yet.
There's
So how
always-
many are we looking to?
So it would
A
be,
rack of,
it would be one rack there. I think at
There's
the
6
moment
bikes,
we're,
right?
yeah, I mean, I think the costings we've got is 8 bikes,
Good.
4 in each
Yeah.
at the moment, but obviously
great.
that's, changeable.
Mm.
Don't have to go with those figures.
There is a precedent, Craig, there is a precedent with regards to things being put on that area, that concrete area, because there's a wayfinding sign for East Grinstead Town Council already there. So it's in that that location.
I was just going to say that's fantastic news. I think those two places are perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if you think about where we want it straight by the railway station, and you want it where the Forest Way
Yeah,
starts.
absolutely.
People may want to hire up from there and just go into town, or vice versa. So yeah, if fingers crossed, I think
Fantastic.
good job,
Yeah.
good progress. You know, as I say, they would have been my two
Yeah.
perfect areas almost.
Yeah, I would have preferred something on the high street, if I'm honest. Like the car parking space by the Market Square.
I think, I agree, Chair. I think if there is somewhere we can, and this is the challenge, is you almost need a bike lock so they can lock it up at a normal, rather than drop it off and pick it up. It's almost like, well, if they just want to stop, have a look around.
I think they do come with locks. don't
Do they come with
Yeah,
locks? So
yeah,
that's
I
the
think-
question. Can we just check?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
'Cause I think-
that's fine.
And then I think for us, and maybe back to the leaflet, if we can't I agree with you perfectly, would have been great to have one in High Street, but that would have been 3
No, I would have said that
instead of the other
Forest Way.
one. I think at least if we can signpost where there are cycle racks that people that can then almost stop in town, and then, they then might want to continue their journey onward. And so I think if we can check if they do come with locks, because that would be,
Yeah, I think they do. We'll double check. Alice has already done a rough bike stand map So she's highlighted where every single bike stand is.
Wow.
So there's the King Street car park, there's the library,
Opposite London Bar and Grill, opposite Boots.
it just shows, oh yeah, opposite Boots,
And
yeah.
then
What about the main,
Fountain.
what about the top of town, the,
Fountain.
there is one at the Fountain,
Yeah,
is it?
there's
Okay.
only the Sheffield U stands. Yeah, opposite the new restaurant, the Aqua.
It just shows you walk past them all the time.
Yeah, you don't notice them. So costs of the setup for a 12-month initial period, 8 bikes at £55 per month each. Supply and installation of, they're called Toast Rack style cycle stands, with 5 hoops. You can have livery and branding as well on them for the bikes at £40 per bike as well.
Is this a cost to the council?
Yeah.
But and the revenue's going back to the council?
Yes. And so we're looking at just over £7,000, 2 sites, 8 bikes. If further bikes and racks are required, the cost will increase, and this will be an ongoing cost annually to the council if the scheme continues. So it would need to be budgeted for in the future. The site along the A22 will require a hard standing area to be installed, so this will involve additional costs as well. In respect to the hire fees, there is a similar scheme in Forest Road, and they charge a maximum of £18 a day or £3 an hour, and have a current annual income of around £2,000. So any scheme would have to be subsidised by the council under those figures. Okay.
And just to confirm that it's the same, that was the point that they can cycle from Forest Road to East Grinstead Dock.
Yes.
Yes, so that's kind of where it's kind of, yes, one on the high street, but it's good that there is the ability for onward travel around that. And I think I asked this before, and apologies, I can't remember. If say everybody decides to go from Forest Road, I don't know, drop off more bikes than is one end or the other, how do they get redistributed?
Well, if they hire a bike from Forest Road, they have to take it back to Forest Road.
But they can dock it for a period of time.
Yes.
But then somebody else can't take that bike.
No.
They have to physically,
Yeah, I don't think they can dock it at the
Okay.
station. I think they'd have to just park it lock it in town or whatever, and cycle back. Because I think they keep it separate.
Okay.
You said earlier that it's possible to have livery put on the bike racks.
Yes.
Well, why can't we sell that as advertising for local businesses? Then we get a revenue stream that way.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. The idea, I think that would be a great idea. And you know, there've got to be a few businesses out there that would like to do that.
Especially the keep fit ones.
Yes. And people like Southern Sheeting as an example, because they're very much into sustainability and so on. So there's definitely opportunities there from a sponsorship side, absolutely.
So will we put up suggested bike routes for them, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so that's the idea, yeah.
From the Marion, yeah.
Yes, and so that again, that's where that information would tie in quickly.
Yes.
I think you'd have something on the website, couldn't you, where about the bike scheme, and then you could add routes on there.
It's just suggested because you come to a town, perhaps
Yeah,
you don't really, you got your bike and where will we go?
Yeah.
So it would be nice for them to be able to tap into their phone and see suggested bike rides or something.
I think it's a good point, actually. I think it's really important that it's not just a one-dimensional element of promotion. I think this is where I think from a town council perspective, Terry, quite hopefully in agreement, it just needs to be on everything. Really.
Yeah,
You know,
Could be really good.
yeah, I think so too. Yeah, absolutely.
Asset for the town.
And just a final point, I think, once we get those two in place, I think, and demonstrate the viability and people start to see those, I think that may demonstrate to other bodies that have maybe not as been forthcoming that actually this is working and actually it's not producing the negative connotations or and therefore it grows. So I think back to the point that Mrs. Belsey, Councillor Belsey sort of said, I think start small, demonstrate value and then build from that. So I think that's really, really exciting news.
Yeah, good. That's good stuff. So that's pretty much all of that. So station looks very positive, Forest Way, and we'll look at, I think it would be worth starting the ball rolling with approaching some businesses now, just to sound them out really. People like DHL might have funds and things like that, mightn't they? And I'm just thinking about larger companies that have got slightly deeper pockets that could.
It would be nice if we could have a sign where and with a website to find your journeys on a sign or something, so that when they got there, there's a board sponsored by or something with, you know, for your journeys.
Yeah.
On a road sign, again, that could be sponsored.
Yes.
So with where to find the journeys.
Yeah, maybe
Some things to think about there.
Simon might, within the docking station, there might be things that he
Yeah.
could recommend that we could put up so that
Yeah.
it's there in front of
A map,
them when they hire a
whatever.
bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, perhaps that's,
But that organ invites his sponsorship.
yeah. Yeah, Simon would be able to help on that one. But he would be able, definitely you can sponsor the bikes and, you know, you can definitely have that livery on there. Okay, so that's all very good. That's very exciting. Item number 10 is really just dates of next meetings for the committee to note. Obviously, things might change from the middle of May onwards. Not too sure, but make a note anyway. Anything changes. 30th of May, 25 July, 5 September, 28 November, and 16 January. That will go quickly. Hopefully, we'll have a few wins before then. Date of the next meeting is Thursday, the 30th of May. Before I wrap up, has anybody got any comments?
Can I ask, are you retaining your chairmanship at one year?
I don't know. It's not been confirmed on our side. I don't know.
Okay,
I
you've done
have
so
good
much
news.
work, it would be.
Yeah. I have good news on school garden.
Ah, yes.
St Mary's have applied to East Grinstead in Bloom for a £500 grant. It's been given, so now they can go ahead and buy what they need to set up their garden.
Great.
Great. Fantastic. That's so. When do you think that will start?
Started.
Oh, has it? Okay,
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah.
Is that something that other schools can get involved in?
Escorts are going to be, and then once we've got a couple under our belt, as Bloom, I can go out and push it around all of the schools, because they've done it before.
Yes.
It just fell off the wagon when it came to COVID.
Yeah, yeah. And you had a meeting with a couple of ladies, residents.
They are joining the Bloom board, so
Okay.
yes,
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
very interesting.
We
Trying
had
to get a duck house on the wash ponds at Herentide for one of them.
what the wash? Oh, is that opposite Crane?
No, that's round the corner. So the Herentide one is off Herentide Drive, on the left up.
Yeah.
Not the Hers.
Oh, I know, yes, on Herentide Drive.
On Herentide
Yeah,
Drive,
okay,
yeah.
got you, yes, so many ponds, isn't there? Oh, that's good. So, I can't remember the lady's name.
Val wants the duck pond.
Yes,
Sue is very keen on sustainability.
yes, okay,
Biodiversity.
that's right, yes, yeah, that's right, she's a former teacher, isn't she?
Yes.
Yes, good, okay, oh, great, well, I'm glad that was a good connection anyway.
Very. Thank you.
Fantastic stuff. Lee?
From memory, I believe the East Grinstead Sports Council presentation we had for council, Kiddercall Mass got a mention, I think. I wonder if they might help us with promotion for the bike cross. Similar sort of concept.
Yeah, no, absolutely,
Right.
yeah. The chair of Sports Council, Bob Shelley, he's been to every one. And so, yeah, he does promote it on there, because there's a Facebook group for Sports Council. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it does mean, actually, with Kiddercall Mass, where Facebook is great is if people share it to all of their friends or invite their friends, and so the group grows then exponentially, really. So it's just a case of getting that message across. But yeah, if any further promotion that you can do for that 9th of June date, that'd be great. We'll probably start promoting that fairly soon. So on that note, it's 7:50.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Craig, for all you do, Steve.
Steve, not me.